Show has time, looks for Deutsch. Deutsch at the one into the end zone.
Comes on to serve, dug out by Bishop. This to the middle and slamming one home.
And free ball to the crossover. Eilertson will get the pass for Holly. Set up left side. Rusted down with the kill. He'll play action now. Look to pass over the middle. It's intercepted by Cole Hebel. Intercepted by Hebel, and he brings it back. Set it up, Bostena left side. Big kill blocked at the net. Kept alive by the Greyhounds. Fetting's got room, and here's Bo Fetting. Fetting's still on his feet. Fetting's gone. Bo.
The Your Live Event Coaches Show is presented by the Hillsborough Economic Development Committee.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. I'm Joe Lancella. We'll be talking high school football playoffs. North Dakota, they're at the semifinal stage. We'll be talking to a couple of coaches. We'll also be talking about Minnesota cross country. Holly's girls cross country team has qualified for the Minnesota Class A meet that is this weekend down in St. Olaf. And also we'll talk Minnesota volleyball with Megan Eskigard, the coach of the Barnesville Trojan cross-country team. We'll start things off talking with Minnesota high school football. We've got section championship games being played at the Fargo Dome on Thursday and Friday. We'll be talking with Brian Remick of Red Lake County Central first, or I should say Red Lake County, the Rebels, as they play for a 8A region championship. We'll also check in first with Tony Soderberg, the coach of the Dilworth Glendon Felton Rebels.
Welcome back to the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. Talking now with Tony Soderberg, the coach of Dilworth Glendon Felton, the Rebel football team, going to be playing for the Section 8 AAA championship against East Grand Forks on Thursday night. Well, Tony, first of all, talk about your win over Thief River Falls over the weekend.
Well, it was a physical football game. We got the lead in the second quarter and held on to it until there was about 4 minutes left in the game, and Thief River Falls made a big pass play and scored a touchdown on the next play, and that made it 10-7. Low scoring game, physical football game, and we were able to drive the ball down the field, convert a fourth down, and then eventually get a touchdown to take the lead with about 52 seconds left in the game. So, it was a little nerve-wracking, a little fun, but, we were able to, at the end of the game, have more points than the other team, and that's kind of the goal. So, it was a survive and advance type of situation. Hats off to Thief River Falls. Their kids played lights out, physical. They got some really good players up front. So, but we're playing on Thursday, and that's all we can ask for.
It's always been said that it's tough to beat a team twice in a given season. Was this matchup go a lot differently than the first game you played Thief River?
Yeah, first time we played them, it was the first game of the year. So, I'd say we had a little more experience coming back than they did. So they were kind of finding their way or figuring out exactly who they are and what they do. And, it's always hard to beat a team second time. That's for sure. So, we got another one coming up on Thursday. We played the East Grand Forks earlier in the season, and they played us pretty tough. So, it's going to be the same song and dance. So.
Got a great running back in Jordan Summers, almost 1,900 yards rushing on the year. Tell me a little bit about him.
He does a really good job of getting behind his blockers, finding the seam. He's very patient, and when he sees the hole, he hits it hard. And, he's the type of kid where if he's going to get tackled, he's going to get tackled falling forward, which is, something that can take a 4-yard gain and make it into a 7-yard gain. And, so that's kind of right around what he's averaging per carry. And, but it starts with the people in front of him executing well too. And, trying to mitigate, plays for losses. And, he's a heck of an athlete. Glad he's on our team. Great player.
Who are some other guys that have stood out for you this year?
Owen Leach, our quarterback and free safety, he's done a heck of a job. He drove down the field, scored a touchdown against Thief River Falls, and then had the game sealing pick. He's been a 4-year starter on defense, basically 3-year starter on offense for us. So, he does a great job of getting the snap, distributing the ball, and when we need him to do something, he can get it done. Nick Wally is another running back. Him and Brody Friend, they're kind of just a little counter punch to Jordan Summers, where if teams are stacking the box, we can try to get those guys outside and moving. And then up front, Victor Sosa, Max Baumgartner, those are some mainstays, starters for a couple of years for us now too, that are doing a heck of a job. But really it's the 11 that are in there at any time that those are the most important kids on the field. So, we're just trying to play good football and execute well.
And it's tough to go to 9-0 on a season without having a really good defense.
Yeah. Defense side of the ball, we've had our growing pains in certain areas this year, but I think we're kind of buckling it down. Right around the correct time. We're healthy. We got a couple kids back, so we just want to play good fundamental defensive football and try to score a couple points on offense. So for sure.
Grand Forks, talk about your first game with them and what are the concerns you have for the rematch?
East Grand Forks on offense, they're not going to do anything flashy. They're going to come straight ahead at you and try to play smash mouth football with a little option look and, control the game clock and try to just kind of chew up them first downs and, look at their special teams to flip the field for them. They're going to be well coached, well disciplined. They're not going to do anything flashy. They're not going to shoot themselves in the foot or make mistakes. And then on defense, they got a couple kids up front that gave us some headaches last time, and their scheme was pretty decent for us, and we had a couple turnovers right away in the game that we were really able to overcome later. But it's going to be a good physical football game.
Certainly worth the trip to the Fargo Dome, and we've got it also on yourliveevent.com again Thursday night. Dilworth Clinton Felton, the Rebels taking on East Grand Forks. Tony Soderberg, thanks so much and best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll continue with the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on yourliveevent.com after this.
Hillsborough Economic Development Committee supports businesses in the Hillsborough community in the form of loans and grants. Experience Hillsborough. There's more at 104.
Welcome back to the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show here on yourliveevent.com. Joined now by Brian Remick, the coach of the Red Lake County Rebels, who were winners over Ada Borup West on Saturday and now advance to play Mahnomen Waban on Thursday at the Fargo Dome for the Section 8 football championship. Brian, again, that was a very impressive performance by your team on Saturday at Ada.
Yeah, I thought our kids really came out with a lot of energy. They did a nice job of executing the things that we need to do, and they just made some plays. And if you can make a few plays throughout the game, especially in key situations, a lot of times you can end out coming out with a win.
And somebody who made key situations was Damon Ferguson, your senior running back. Ran for a touchdown, returned an interception for a touchdown, and threw a touchdown pass.
Yeah, Damon, he's been playing well for us all year long. Had a couple of different sets in there for him to, get the ball in his hand, and throwing wise, he made a couple nice plays there, a couple nice reads on some things. Defensively, he found himself in the right spot at the right time there to get that interception and return it for a touchdown. So. He's a good player. He's a captain for us. Just a heck of a kid. So there's no doubt in our mind that he's going to step up in big times like that.
Had he played quarterback before? Because that when he threw the ball, it didn't look like it was awkward or like a first timer or anything like that.
We've ran that set a couple times, a little bit in some games here. So he has had some experience. We probably practice it a lot more than maybe what we've ran it. So. Again, he's just he's a natural athlete, and a lot of times those natural athletes can do a lot of things that a lot of us other folks can't.
And you had contributions from quite a few people. Ethan Major is not the biggest guy in your side. I think he's about 5'4", something like that, but did a really strong job at a linebacker spot for you.
Yeah, with the sets that Edelborov likes to run, we need to get a few more coverage guys out there. And so he's one of those guys that have played that coverage spot. Yeah, he's not the biggest, but he does a good job on reading his coverage and getting to the right spot. So we just felt with the way they run their offense and the things they like to do, getting some more of our speed guys out there was real important for us.
Somebody who made an impression on me early on was Matt Renner, your senior defensive tackle. Really good job on the pass rush early on.
Yeah, the last time we played, we kind of had him at a linebacker spot. It was just it's kind of maybe not a good fit for him to be out there. So we put him back up to his DN, more of a natural spot for him. And like you said, he was able to get some pressure, kind of force a few things here and there. So having him on one side and then having Gerald Moline on the other, that seemed to benefit us quite a bit.
Not about the year that Gerald's had. He'll stand out being 6'5", obviously, but he stands out as far as making plays too.
Yeah, he does a number of things for us. Whether it's a blocking end or receiving end, he's punted, he's kicked off, kicked field goals for us. He does do some long snapping when we need him to, and then defensively, he's played D end, linebacker. We've even thrown him back in the secondary on some key passing situations or things like that. So, he's very versatile. So, it's good to have a kid or a few kids that can kind of move around a little bit and play some different spots when needed.
Now you've got Mahnomen Waban coming up on Thursday at the Fargo Dome with the section championship. You had the closest game that anybody's had with Mahnomen Waban. That was just a 2-point loss on your side.
Yeah, we were able to, get up 14-0 on them. We had a score on the offensive side, and then we also had a defensive side score. We gave up a touchdown before half, and I really thought that really got them, going in the right direction as far as momentum. And then, we took the lead, probably with about 6 minutes left or so, 20-14, and then they were able to put together a drive and cap it off with a 2-point conversion for the win. So, they're a strong program. They always have been. We've had, a lot of difficulties with them over the years. So it's going to be a big challenge for us. It's, one of those things. It's a big challenge, but it's a great opportunity. We're going to go out and hopefully we can give them everything that we have and try to find a way to maybe get a point better than them this time.
What kind of things went well for you in that first meeting with Mahnomen Waban?
I thought for the most part, our guys maybe right up until the end or so in that last drive or two, but I thought our most guys kind of did their assignments. With their veer offense their midline, you really got to be assignment sharp on what you're supposed to do as far as dive man, quarterback pitch, and that kind of thing. And if you get cheating and doing some things that you shouldn't be doing, they expose that on you. So I thought for the most part we were assignment sharp. That doesn't mean that we always made every play, but we were in the right spot to make the play. And so, I think it's got to start with that. You got to be there and then have that opportunity. And then hopefully when that opportunity comes up, you can make that play.
Well, hopefully the Rebels can make some plays and should be a great game with Mahnomen Waban and yourselves on Thursday night at the Fargo Dome. We'll have that on yourliveevent.com. Brian Remick, thanks very much and best of luck.
All right. Thanks for having me. And thanks for doing all this stuff that you do for not only for our team, but for all the teams out there.
Brian Remick, the coach of the Red Lake County Rebel football team. We'll be back with more on our Coaches Show right after this.
Take a good look at Hillsboro. It's conveniently located between Fargo and Grand Forks. Hillsboro is a growing community with solid local schools with high graduation rates. There's an industrial park ready to host a new business. And there's Woodland Park with activities all year round. The Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation asks you to take a good look at Hillsborough when you're thinking about a place to put down roots and grow. For more information, contact the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation at growhillsboroughnd.com.
Lee Brothers Sales, Highway 9 in Ada invites you to order your new Buick and Chevrolet vehicles. From the Silverado, Trailblazers, Traverse, and Enclave, Lee Brothers is your authorized Chevrolet and Buick dealer, providing sales and a service to the area since 1975. For ordering your vehicles, talk with Mitch, Smurf, or Jay. Trust the experts who know your vehicles best and take advantage of great Chevy certified service offers today. Lee Brothers Sales, Highway 9, Ada, 218-784-2000.
Hey, what you doing?
Crawling around under my planter trying to figure out if I need any maintenance parts replaced.
It's harvest time, buddy.
Yeah, I know, but the guys at RDK Enterprises keep reminding me to check now, just in case I need something ordered.
What do I look for?
Just give RDK a call and ask some questions. They are the guys I go to for answers.
This is Chris from RDK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. We will answer all of your planter questions or come out to your farm and take a look at your planter. Give us a call, 701-636-2119 or planterdoc.com.
Now on the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show, we want to switch to North Dakota football. State semifinals coming up. I had a chance to talk with Todd Sheldon of Mandan. They'll be playing in 11AA. But then first we have Chase Miller. He had a chance to talk with Tommy Butler, the coach of Central Cass, as the Squirrels are in the Class B semifinals.
Join us now on our Your Live event Coaches Show is Central Cass football coach. That's Tommy Butler after a very hard knock football game in the 11B semifinals where Central Cass comes out on top over the defending champs in Kindred against the Vikings 14-10. And Tommy, congratulations again on getting to the 11B semifinals. Let's start there. I know for both teams picked up some bruises. There's some kids that got nicked up during the game as well. A very hard fought game top to bottom. Whoever was going to earn that victory definitely earned it. But for you guys, Tommy, to pick up a win, to get to the semifinals, what did it mean to knock off your rival, but also continue the journey here in 2022?
I think this is this is the biggest win I've ever had as a head coach. Those guys have beaten us, I think it was like 7 straight times or something like that. So we felt confident going into the game, but, again, it was very similar to the game. When we scored a touchdown, it's like you finally got that hope, like, okay, we can actually do this. So I think we've kind of been on that verge, for the past few years of, we're close, but I think getting a win like that is a huge program boost for us. It was absolutely insane down there. It was the talk of the school yesterday. So, it was a great thing to be a part of. I'll tell you that.
Now, the cool thing is you get to go up against the wily Wildcat, Jim Dooley and his Bueller Minor offense. We'll get to that in a moment here, Tommy. But for you guys here, particularly on some the players, I got to start with the offense and defensive line. That game was hard-nosed up front right off the bat. And I know you've made mention of it when we've talked throughout the season. Hey, we're going to kind of go as our line goes on both sides of the ball. If they can protect our quarterback, have some time to throw, able to do so, to find Cooper Johnson on that 4th and 17 play, opened up some holes for Owen Wiersma, Wisniewski and company, Mitchell at the quarterback spot. So let's start there. What did you see from your line going up against one of the best lines in Kindred on Saturday afternoon?
Yeah, I couldn't, just the way that they played was awesome. Again, those guys are good. They had some plays that they made for sure. There's a reason why they're as talented as they are. But again, I thought it came back to, like you said, we held them to, I think, 120-some yards rushing. It was like 3 yards a carry. And then when we got down to the end, we were talking as a staff, trying to decide what we want to do. And we said, we've come this far. We told our kids all week we were going to play with no fear. We wanted them to, to if there were shots there to take the shots. And we felt like we had a chance to win the game. We didn't want to play for overtime. We wanted to just go out and win it. And, we talked to our O-line and we said, let's go with our best play. Let's go with our best kid pulling and Tyler. We get Dylan and Kemper down blocking. We had Marcus Bifford in there coming back and trying to seal that backer. And honestly, they played it well. Sunram basically down blocked Kemper and had a one-on-one shot with Owen. And again, that's why we said we'll give it to our best back. And I thought that was just a tremendous effort from all those guys. But for Owen to run through Sunram to score was, was quintessential for us. I mean, that's just kind of who we've been. We've always been the team in the past that has to throw it to beat you. And we felt like this year we were a different team. I think we can throw it, but, to have us drive down the field and finish it off with a couple runs, I think is kind of who this team is this year.
And there's some guys that we can talk about. I know I mentioned a number of them to you before, but maybe again that I haven't talked to you a lot about, but he's a dynamic playmaker is Peyton Lamar, right? Just in terms of what he brings to the table offensively for you guys. When you can put him out in space, he makes someone miss. He's got some speed to get to the boundary and maybe get a first down, if not a lot of yards after the catch as well sometimes. What does he do for this team just as a player for what he provides, from top to bottom?
Yeah, I mean, he's unbelievably smart. Him coming back up two, double ACL surgeries and not getting to play play any sports for 2 years. Just seeing him, the way that he's evolved again. I mean, he is a second coach out there for us out on the field. Totally understands spacing, understands, what we're trying to do with all of our plays. And then defensively, same kind of deal. I mean, he's got 6 interceptions for us on the year. He's like you said, he's dynamic with the ball. We've always had trouble with jet sweeps in the past with, trying to get our guys out to the edge. And, he does a great job of understanding, where sometimes maybe I got to gear it down a little bit, let my blocks develop, and then I can pick it back up, or sticking his foot in the ground and cutting it up. And again, he's not very big, but, he's very elusive. He just understands spacing and awareness of where to fit where he needs to.
How big is it to have some versatility, whether it's Biffert comes in, maybe you bring a Wisniewski in to give him a break off. Maybe you rotate 1 or 2 guys on the defensive line at times during the game as well here. Tommy, excuse me, how big is that for you guys at this point of the season, where it could be maybe just one player here, a player there, but ultimately it's 4 or 5 reps that they don't have to worry about on a series, or 4 or 5 reps maybe in a game where someone can quickly get to the sideline, grab some water, just recompose himself and get back into the game. We saw that against Kindred, definitely rotating some guys throughout that contest. So what does that do for you both offensively and defensively?
It's huge for us. It's huge for us. Our kids have put in a lot of time, and I think, they're ready for that moment. We try to prep them as best we can. We told our kids, hey, we're going to play our best guys though. We might not rotate quite as much against some of these better teams, just because, if you let up for 1 second, those guys will expose you and score. But being able to rotate, 3 to 4 different linemen in there on defense is huge. Being able to bring Biffert in, bring Carter Maj in, being able to get into tight end sets, fullback sets, being able to get out and go 5 wide with, or 4 wide with Jake Thompson in there. I mean, those, like you said, those are big things where those guys don't have to play, 120 snaps. They're able to play 70 or 80. And again, I think that makes a big difference coming down the stretch. But, there is guys like Tyler. I don't think Tyler came off the field offensively or defensively. And he kept telling us that, hey, well, I'm fine. Don't take me off. I'm fine. And again, we were going to ride or die with those guys of, letting them play through stuff. So I think we were, like I said, I mean, I just, the way that we performed, I think was tremendous. And I think it just goes back to the preparation those guys put in.
And speaking of preparation here, you got a week to get ready for an offense that you probably just don't see a lot of anymore. I mean, every now and then there's some teams that do a wing back, but it seems like Jim Dooley has different variations, maybe some eye candy that goes in the backfield as well. You have 2-3 guys that might get the football, maybe similar to Lisbon a couple of years ago with a wrinkle. Tommy, how do you see, from your point of view, what the Beulah Miners like to do offensively in an offense that Coach Jim Dooley has ran for what feels like an eternity out there in Beulah and has run it very well?
Yeah, they're extremely well coached. I mean, he's got a system and those kids know it. They'll give you 50 different formations. They're going to run probably 5 or 6 really different plays. Now they'll block it differently, which makes it look like a different play, but it's all the same. And if you don't get aligned correctly and you don't understand what they're doing, it'll kill you. They'll run it into the boundary 50 times in a row if they need to. They're not tendency based. He does a great job of scheming that way. So, like you said, it's similar to Lisbon. I mean, they're a single wing team, but it's a lot different. They're foot to foot splits at times. Sometimes they'll spread it out. They'll go Maryland I. They'll run some dive option at you. They have some really good players. At number 47, Armani Smith, he's big, he's physical, he's athletic. And then their back that carries the ball the most, number 8, I think it's Melmer, I think is his name. Dynamic player, again, runs hard. He's not the biggest dude, but he's, again, very similar to a Beulah team where he's going to run hard. If you don't gang tackle him, he'll drag you for 4 or 5. And I think, that's where they live, is if they can get you to, 2nd and 5 and 3rd and 2, they're going to go for it. They're going to go for it on 4th down. So they're constantly playing 4 down. So it's all about getting tackles for loss and making them, if they're going to go for it, it's got to be 4th and 5, So I think that's our key to success. Obviously, stopping the run. They'll throw it a little bit, enough to keep you honest. But I mean, everybody in the state knows that they want to run the ball, and it's bring your lunch pails. Very similar to what Kinder does. We knew Kinder was going to run it. They took some shots over the top, but to beat them, you have to stop their run game. If you don't stop their run game, they're going to do whatever they want to you.
Final thing for you, Tommy, before we let you go, what would a win mean in the semifinals? I know we've kind of asked that before about, climbing the mountain here, trying to get past some quality competition from the eastern side of the state. Now you go back to the western central part of the state here in Beulah and trying to get to a Dakota Bowl appearance. But what would a win on the road for your 3rd time here potentially, and trying to win another game against a hard-nosed team, what would that win mean for this program to get to a title match?
Huge, especially like you said, we're coming in, we're the number 11 ranked team going in. We're, like I told you, we're not supposed to be here. I'm sure nobody thinks we're going to win this game either. They're the blue collar team. Their coach wears a ratted up, cut off sweatshirt. We're the, in the past, we've been the high powered offense that, is going to come in and try to spread you out. I wear red pants. This is what Dooley told me. I wear red pants. I look the part. He doesn't, but they're just a blue collar, just going to slam it in your face. I feel like this is a different team this year. It's not the same old Central Cass. They're not the same old Beulah. They're going to have wrinkles. We're going to have wrinkles. But I think it's going to come down to, how well we play up front. And again, like you said, this will be a huge program win for us to, we've been building for this for 4 years of putting in the time, putting in the effort. And, for us to be able to make a state championship appearance would be monumental for us.
Hey, Tommy, as always, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck out in Coal Country coming up here this weekend. And moving forward here, it's been a great ride so far. One more game that you got with this team, which makes it a lot of fun. Best of luck coming up on Saturday afternoon.
I appreciate it, Chase. Go Squirrels.
That again, Central Cass head football coach Tommy Butler, Central Cass Beulah at 2:00 with an audio-only broadcast. Joe Morgan will be on the call right here on your live event.
Live, work, and play here in Hillsboro, North Dakota. The Hillsboro Economic Development Committee can assist you with information and support for business and housing. Experience Hillsboro. More at 104.
Welcome back to the Hillsboro EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. Talking now with Todd Sheldon, the coach of the Mandan Braves, who are in the Class 11 AA semifinals, courtesy of a win over West Fargo, 34-18 on Friday night. Todd, talk about that game.
First time we've matched up against West Fargo in a few years, so is I shouldn't say that. We played them last year, but we don't play them a lot, so it's a team we're not overly familiar with, and I know they graduated a ton of kids from last year, so a lot of scouting for this one, and the other areas, they had a lot of injuries coming into this game, so we were not sure how many of their kids were going to be able to participate, but I think overall the game plan came to fruition, and we were able to run the ball pretty effectively and then use some big plays in the pass game. So we jumped out to, I think, a 28 or 27-0 lead at halves. So we got going pretty quick.
Lincoln Wiseman, a big part of that ground game, 231 yards and 3 touchdowns. Talk about him.
Lincoln is a very dynamic runner. He's not a power runner per se, but he is a strong kid, a weight room guy that works at it pretty diligently. And really good about picking out holes, reading blocks, making people miss in the hole. And then he's an explosive runner downfield. I think his second carry of the game was about a 68-yard run for a touchdown, and read a nice block by I think it was Brady Bame, and then got upfield, made one miss, and then outran everybody.
And somebody also some pretty good speed is Carson Jablonski. According to the paper, Carson says he runs the 50 in 4.5, but whatever it was he runs it in, he had, I guess, some pretty good speed and a couple of touchdown catches.
Yeah, he caught a quick slant and then turned it into I think it was like a 68-yard touchdown for him as well. And it ran away from all the defenders across the field and made that one just pure speed. His other touchdown, he caught a bubble pass and then had a really nice spin move and a quality stiff arm, and then dragged a couple guys into the end zone. I think he gets a MO like he's a little guy, but he's about 6 foot, about 170 pounds. And he's a kid that's not afraid of the weight room and not afraid to get after it.
The Braves with an 8-2 record on this season, have those explosive big plays been a big part of your season?
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the stats to put stuff together for the end of the year stuff. And we're looking at, about 25 yards a reception at this point, which is pretty phenomenal. And then our rushing per carry for Lincoln's right at about 6.5 yards a carry, which, over the course of a game, you're going to get some negatives in there someplace or get tripped up for no gain. So 6.5 a carry is a pretty substantial number. He's racking up the carries at this point. We'd like to give him a little bit more break, but he's at a couple, 30 carry games, and he thrives off that. The more carries he can get, the happier that kid is.
Talk about your defense. How's that been playing this season?
I'm incredibly fortunate, and the kids are incredibly fortunate. Kevin Swan's our defensive coordinator, and he has done an exceptional job, but added to the defensive staff, and he coaches linebackers, is Steve Elkins, who was the defensive coordinator at Beulah for several years while they were contending for state championships. And Austin Pollock is working with our D-line, and he was the defensive coordinator at St. Mary's for several years where they were contending for state championships or winning them. And then our defensive backs coach is Gerald Zittelman, who I think he's top 5 on the all-time tackle list for the University of Mary. So we've got really 4 high-end quality defensive coaches that working with those kids. So all levels are covered, and we play a very team-oriented defense. It's a lot about do your job, and the kids have executed their assignments incredibly well. It doesn't sound like it when we look at our stats, because I think our free safety is leading us in tackles. So Devin Church has done a phenomenal job of running downhill and making plays on ball carriers. And then our corners have each got a couple interceptions. Right now, the kid who's been the 2 positions that have been making the biggest impact are Wyatt Peel and Tri Frank. And those are, we call them overhangs. They're a hybrid outside linebacker, safety type guy. And Wyatt had an interception, causes a fumble, does fabulous. And Tri this week graded out at like a 98%. And I don't know how many people look at how you grade defensive players, but virtually impossible to get 100% on defense. You're gonna do something wrong. You're gonna read a key wrong. But Tri was at about 98%, and Coach Elkins said that he probably could have given him 100, but he's never given 100 before. So the Tri and Wyatt are playing phenomenal too, and I think they get that opportunity because of Brady Bame and Owen Gress, McCoy Keller, Brendan Hoost, and Hunter Corbin, play the front 4 spots and rotate through there. And I think those guys create a lot of opportunities for our second level.
Now the Braves with an 8-2 record, like I say, you get a home game with Fargo Shanley, which will be a rematch from earlier this season. You had a win there, and also Shanley beat you in last year's playoffs. So there's a little bit at stake there in that game.
Yeah, what Shanley does is, spreads you out, and I think they threw the ball 42 times against Minot last week in a game that they were well in command of, and then they scored 70 points the week before that at St. Mary's, so they can definitely put points on the board. So our defense is going to get tested this week, and we're going to have to cover everybody. They're not going to target one guy over another guy. They're going to spread the ball around and make you defend the entire field. Controlling the ball will be an obstacle for us. We're going to need to convert some third downs, I assume, and we're going to need to get positive yards on first down so that we can, get ahead of the chains in that aspect. Shanley's been a very disciplined team. I think their coaching staff has been together here for like 5.5, 6, well, I suppose this would be the 6 years that they've been together. So they communicate really well. They make adjustments really well. They take care of the things they need to take care of.
So what would be the important things for you to do to come away with a W and get to the Fargo Dome?
Probably the biggest issue that we need to be ahead of the turnover game. And I think it's about the most cliche thing there is possible, but turnovers are absolutely key. In the games we lost, we committed 5 turnovers and those are the only games we lose is when we commit 5 turnovers. So I don't know if 5 is the magic number, but turnovers can be absolutely detrimental. And we want to make sure we take care of the ball and give ourselves plenty of opportunities.
All right. We'll see what happens. It'll be Friday night in Mandan when the Braves take on Fargo. Shanley, Todd Shelton, thanks very much and best of luck.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. We'll continue with the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show right after this.
Harvest is here, and that means we all need to be careful. Hello, this is Bethany Rentz with Irie Insurance. We want to make sure everyone up and down the valley has a safe and successful harvest. Take extra special care in your travels. Slow-moving combines, mud-covered roads, and debris are just a few things during harvest that can be dangerous. So take your time, watch your surroundings, and most of all, be patient and slow down. For more harvest safety tips, go to irieins.com.
You're protected and appreciated at Irie.
Irie Insurance is an equal opportunity provider.
In Hope, North Dakota, we aren't just a town, we're a community, one that you can be proud of, where you and your family can grow. With available jobs, affordable housing, a local golf course and pool, the Sportsman Club, and great educational opportunities, there hasn't been a better time to join the Hope community, ideally located between Fargo, Grand Forks, and Jamestown. For more information, go to www.hopend.com. Live, work, and play in Hope, North Dakota.
Buying a new home, but worried about the interest rate and terms from your bank? At First Class Mortgage, we'll find a mortgage that fits your needs. Shopping national banks and other lenders for the lowest rate and most affordable terms. Saving you time and money. So all you need to worry about is enjoying your new home. First Class Mortgage. Our expertise, your peace of mind. Put an expert to work for you. Call today.
Barnesville High's volleyball team is in the Minnesota region semifinals. I had a chance to talk with Coach Megan Eskigard about that, and we'll hear from her. But first, we'll hear from Nathan Stoa and some of the members of the Holly girls cross country team. They're going to be competing at the state tournament at St. Olaf College in Northfield on Saturday.
Welcome back to the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. Joined now by Nathan Stoa, the coach of the Holly cross country team. The Nuggets girls qualified for the state cross country championship, but at the Region 8 meet last weekend, they were second in the team competition. And right behind Nathan, actually to the left in the blue shirt is Lily Olson, and in the gray shirt is Ivy Tickle. They were 11th and 12th. Ivy was 11th and Lily was 12th at the region meet. Congratulations to everybody.
Thank you.
Ivy, what was it like running in the section meet?
It was pretty difficult. It was probably the most difficult race I ran this season, and it was pretty windy too, which didn't help, but I think it was pretty good.
What was it that made things difficult?
Like the wind and probably the competition of the race. Hard because we were just all we kept going back and forth. So, yeah.
Lily, were you able to stay close to Ivy? Was that kind of your idea for running the race?
Yeah, so we have been kind of running together all season, kind of going back and forth. So we are really good for each other, to push each other. And I think that when we work together as a team during the race, we both run faster. So I think, yeah, that was definitely one of the goals of the race, was for us to be able to go out and finish close to each other.
What was it like when you found out that you had actually done enough to qualify for state?
It was very exciting. It was also, it's kind of like, it kind of just felt like, of course we were going, because it's just like, we go a lot, I guess. So I just felt like kind of like, I'm really happy and like I'm really excited, but I was also like, yeah, we should go. We earned it. We worked hard.
Is that kind of an attitude that the team has had all year?
To a certain extent, I don't see any, we talk about it and they are, we do the mile split thing and we stay and the girls do it whether I tell them to or not, but we stay pretty involved in just knowing what's around us. And why wouldn't we? I mean, I coach basketball in the winter. We have scouting reports, and that's how, if you didn't have that, somebody would think you're not doing your job in the winter. So the same thing in the fall, is we pay attention to those teams that are around us, or who's going to be at that meet, but always with an eye towards sections because of the advancement portion to it. So yeah, we knew that Park Rapids had a really fantastic second half of their season, and that Coach Richard, who spent some time with me when he was student teaching here in Holly, he's done a phenomenal job. And and that team, which had a few seniors to it, was really coming on. And we had been crawling's the wrong word, because we've been running pretty well. It felt like limping is probably the better word, because we had been hurt so much. We'd run 2 meets without 3 of our top 6. And then we had been without Trista Bear, who ran fourth for us at sections. We'd been without her for almost a full month. And so, and got her back that day for her first race in that time. And she was a significant piece, obviously, to the puzzle. So just, my joke was, I feel like we're holding this whole thing together in some sort of MacGyver style, whether it's, tape, KT tape, paper clips, bubble gum, whatever it takes, we're trying to hold it all together. And I thought of the 4 trips, we know the one wasn't actually a trip with the COVID year, but of the 4 straight runner-up finishes, that this to me was one of the most rewarding, right there with the first one. The first one, it was new. It was something that hadn't been done for decades in the program. But this one was just, we've kind of been on a roller coaster the whole year. And so that made it rewarding. And like I said, it wouldn't have been nearly as rewarding, or we wouldn't have had it happen, if these girls didn't bring great attitudes and great effort each day to practice and then to the races.
So for Ivy and Lily, I'll ask you now, what's your goal for the state meet?
So I think we're ranked like 11th right now. So my goal is probably top 10 or better.
Yeah, I would say that to finish as high as we can as a team would be good. I mean, we're probably not going to finish that high, but I think top 10 is a good goal. And I also think that just trying to run our best and like prepare our best, like individually and together, and also mostly just to have fun, honestly. Like, I'm just really excited to go to state and enjoy it and spend time with my team, as like in the hotel and at the meet and everything. So yeah, I think that's the main goal, is just to have fun and enjoy it.
I'm guessing you've had a little experience with the course at St. Olaf in Northfield, where the state meet is going to be run. What do you think about the course, and will that experience of being there before help you?
I think it's my favorite course, because it's really pretty and it's really nice and nicely set up. And I think it'll help me run, since I've been there before, because now I know like the areas where it's like I should work harder here, because this is where we'd slow down. So like in the Prairie Loop, that's where usually everybody slows down a little bit. So now that I know that, like, I'll keep pushing through and run a good time because of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that I like the state meet a lot, because I think that the grounds are very like beautiful, and the course is really different than anything else we run, because it's a specific cross country course. Also, I agree with Ivy. I think that we'll probably run faster because we know exactly where everything is, and we have like talked about it as a team and kind of like strategized for it. So I think that that'll definitely help us perform better.
Nathan, I want to get a chance to mention the other girls who are part of the team that's going to state.
Well, okay. So these two ran 1 and 2 for us, and we're all section, as you mentioned. We had an 8th grader, Michaela Jelnick. She's been pretty consistent in our 3rd spot this year. And I think there's a big breakthrough coming for her. I just hope we don't have to wait until she's a freshman, because I think there's one really big race left in her where she can kind of cut the gap and maybe make this duo into a trio sooner rather than later. Mentioned Trista Bear battling back through injuries. She's ran 4th for us at sections. Rachel Swan, an 8th grader, dropped about 42 seconds or something like that. It was 40 plus seconds or so, and PR'd at the section meet, which was big for us in swinging that team race. Senior Bree Nelson, who was an all-state quarter miler for us, she ran 6th, and she's been hampered by some ankle injuries. So we're hoping to get one more, squeeze one more really good race out of her. And then Drew Downer. Sorry, I can't forget Drew. She's PR'd 3 of the last 4 races, and she PR'd at sections on a leg and a half. She's had a knee that's been barking at her here. So we've been working with the trainer, and she's, again, like I said, she is as gutsy as can be for the runner that she is. And she's, again, if she PR'd with a bad knee, I can only imagine how good of a race she could have run if she had 2 good legs there. So hopefully some of this treatment that she's getting will allow her one more really good race at sections or at state, excuse me. And then our 2 alternates are Kaylee Grandstrand, she's a 7th grader, and Sophie Cook, who is a sophomore. So that will be our state meet team.
And also want to give some recognition to Ben Giesland, who qualified for state on the boys' side.
Yep, Ben is our first qualifier since Ivy's brother Satchel qualified his senior year, which I think was 2017 cross country season, because he graduated in 19.
You went
18. All right. Well, since Satchel graduated, so and he had gone, I think he went with the team and then twice as an individual as well. And so Ben is our first since then, and our boys team, which Ben was obviously the leader of, proportionally is probably the best team that we have had in recent memory. And the 2014 team went to state. The 2015 team took 3rd at the section meet. We were just in a loaded section with Perham and Park Rapids, both of which could end up on the podium, come Saturday night. So big shout out to our boys team. They really worked. We can't think of a time in recent memory at all that we had 5 guys that were 17:45 or faster, and these guys laid those down as their season bests and PRs this year. So no, it was a very good season for the boys. They just happened to be a little bit unlucky. We wish there were wild card spots for the team, but getting Ben back on the squad this year really helped, solidify that team and gave a nice leadership presence within the practice element as well. And so I was really happy to see his summer work and his in-season work pay off and earn that trip to state, which was a big goal of his.
Okay, hopefully some good things for the Holly Nugget cross country team coming up at the state Class A cross country meet. That is going to be at St. Olaf in Northfield on Saturday. Ivy Tickle, Lily Olson, and Nathan Stowe, your coach. Thanks very much and best of luck.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll continue on yourliveevent.com right after this.
Hillsborough Economic Development Committee supports businesses in the Hillsborough community in the form of loans and grants. Experience Hillsborough. There's more at 104.
We're back on the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on yourliveevent.com. Megan Eskigard is a coach of the Barnesville Trojans, who are taking on Holly in the semifinals of Section 8AA volleyball. Well, Megan, tell me about your season so far.
Our season kind of got off to a little bit of a slow start. We lost a couple games right away to start, and then just kind of were able to figure out a few things kind of middle to the end of our season. And I guess I'd say that we're playing our best volleyball right now towards the end when we need to be.
You got the number 1 seed in your half of the section, and starting off with a win over Dilworth Glendon Felton last weekend to get to this point right now.
Yeah, we knew we were pretty close with the 1, 2, and the 3 between Perm and Holly. And, we kind of weren't sure if we wanted the 1 seed. It's a good and a bad, I think, in both senses, where you can get that first round bye, you sit in a good spot in the bracket, but yet at the same time, it's kind of nice to get playing right away in tournament play and just kind of get some of that uneasiness out of the way early. And so, yeah, it was a little bit of a shock, I think, to end up with that number 1 seed, but we were very happy with it.
Tell me about your players and what's made the team do so well this year.
You know, I have 11 seniors on my roster, and I think in 15 years of coaching, I've never had 11 seniors try out for the squad. And, you know, we don't cut, we keep everybody. And so just kind of knowing what my team was going to look like this year was really difficult for me because I wasn't sure. I had 3 players that had playing experience that played for me a little bit last year because I graduated a pretty big group of seniors last year that were very athletic and that finished very well at the end of the season as well. So knowing that we really needed to work as a unit and work to develop some chemistry and then just really to get some playing experience. I think that was kind of my biggest worry from the start was how are we going to get, you know, some playing experience? We've got a lot of kids to get in. And I had a few girls that needed to play for me that I wasn't sure I was going to have a jersey for. And so, you know, the girls really adapted well. They've been a great group of teammates. They're a great bench support system on and off the floor. And they show up to practice every day, really ready to work hard. So I think it's just kind of our overall chemistry and our team culture that has really got us to where we are right now.
Are you a tall team with some big hitters? How do you line up that way?
You know, I'd say we're tall. I've got one tall middle, very lanky. She's about 6'1". But other than that, we don't have a whole lot of height. We're very quick on our feet and we're very scrappy. And I think they play really hard. So they're gonna work their tails off on defense, and then what comes through on offense comes through based on their defensive play.
Now you take on a Holly team that you did face very early in the season, and that one going up to 5 sets, and that went in Holly's favor. Obviously, you would both be very different sides by this point.
Yeah, you know, Holly has a different lineup than we saw them. You know, it was September 7th, I think, when we played them earlier on, and they have a different lineup. We have a different lineup. I think it'll be a really good match back and forth. We are very old. We have a lot of seniors on our team. They're very young. They have one senior on there. They have 2 seniors on their roster and one that's on the playing floor all the time. So, you know, it'll be really interesting. They are well coached. They're very scrappy. In the backcourt, they pick up a lot of balls and they hustle after everything. So I think it's going to be a really good match tomorrow night.
Would seem to be one where maybe they've got a little bit of a target on their back, having been to the state tournament last year.
Yeah, you know, we're kind of deja vu here. We played Holly last year in Pelican, same matchup, so subsection finals. It was us versus Holly, and so I think they are, you know, we're coming back. I think with a little bit of the girls say, you know, a little redemption. We want to redeem ourselves from last year, and they're coming in with a strong mentality that they are not going to let anybody stand in their way this year. And I think Holly's, you know, going to work to defend their title as well.
That should be a great matchup then on Wednesday night. And then you hopefully a trip to Dilworth Glenton Felton on Saturday for a trip to the state tournament against either Roseau or East Grand Forks. Have you faced any of those teams?
We face East Grand Forks second match of the season as well, and seen them at a couple tournaments that we've been at. Roseau we have not seen at all. They were at the Perm tournament when we were there, but East Grand is the only one that we have matched up with.
Okay. Well, first things being first, Holly, the first obstacle. Megan Assigard, thank you so much for your time and best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll continue with the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show here on YourLiveEvent.com after this. And that will do it for this edition of the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show. I'm Joe Lancello. Next week, the Dakota Bowl. So we'll hopefully have some teams there to talk about as they get ready to play for state championships. And also, we'll have some Minnesota Region Championships. Minnesota State Volleyball Tournament will be next week. And also, the North Dakota Volleyball Playoffs will be in full swing. So plenty of that to talk about next week on our next edition of the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. Join us next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Thanks for watching.